Good morning, everybody. What's going on? I'll bring this right away. This is awesome, dude. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall makes Democrat Senator Sheldon Whitehouse look like a fool when asked whether Biden was president or not. Check this video out. This right here is what you want to. It might not look like a lot right off, but that is a major burn. Major burn. He made him look like a fool. All right, check it out.
Particularly to those who were injured in the line of duty on that day.
Senator, I object to the premise of your question that somehow or another the organization I was connected with had anything to do with the violence that took place. We've denounced that violence before, and as I've done with you here today.
Is Joseph R. Biden of Delaware the duly elected and lawfully serving president of the United States of America?
He is the president of this country.
Is he the duly elected and lawfully serving president of the United States?
He is the president of our country.
Are you answering that omitting the language duly elected and lawfully serving purposefully?
I'm answering the question. He is the president of the United States.
And you have no view as to whether he was duly elected or is lawfully serving?
I'm telling you he's the president of the United States.
No further questions.
That it seems like a little bit of a. Let me fix my hair. I'm gonna do a Michael Gavlak. That's what we're gonna do. All right, here. That might not look like a lot, but what that was a shot at him real quick, and because he couldn't. That was a neutral answer, so there's no, and it made Whitehouse look kind of stupid. So anyhow, a little bit more stuff. What's going on here? Russia has now made it accusations about the funding of these here labs, and let's see here. Let me do. Let me just look right quick. Here we go. Russia accuses Hunter Biden and CDC, George Soros, the George Soros Foundation, of funding the Pentagon's biological program in Ukraine. And I'll just read a little bit about it and hope we won't get in any trouble. I'll make it fast. The U.S. Senate Department admitted there were dangerous U.S.-funded Labrador retrievers in Ukraine during the Senate testimony earlier this month. Then on Wednesday, the Biden regime backtracked and insisted there were no U.S.-funded Labrador retrievers in Ukraine. And then while the sudden confusion messaging from the Biden gang, especially when there are documents that prove that this was all there, which I'm going to tell you from the day one, I got my information from sort of like, opinionated sources. But when I put two and two together, when all this was talking about, some of my earlier videos talk about these Labrador retrievers that were over there being used for some weird stuff. Anyhow, they're making pretty heavy accusations and Russia brings forth some really interesting paperwork, documentation proving all this. Check this out, though. So me not saying that Russia's all good, Ukraine's not all good, but it seems like every time we turn around when it comes to what Russia brings out, it's really, really consistent evidence from what we've seen on the bad actors over here in the United States. It may not, they can deny it all they want to, but some of us already know a lot of the things that are going on in the background because we've been in this. I mean, anybody watching these videos, they've been digging deep, elbows dirty. We all know what it is. So it's turning Russia into somewhat of a credible source almost. Now, I say that very cautiously. Always do your due diligence. Don't just upload a video that somebody sent you without doing that. Otherwise, you may get some information crossed up. Anyhow, let me slide to the side on this one here, and then we'll go to. Let me get over here. Oh, there we go. 9-term Nebraska GOP representative convicted of lying to the FBI about foreign campaign contributions. Says defense argued FBI was a setup. Let's see if here. I don't know if anybody's been keeping up with this. Nebraska Governor Jeff Fortenberry on Thursday was convicted of lying to the FBI about foreign contribution to his campaign. Fortenberry was convicted of 3 felony counts, 1 count of falsifying concealing material, and 2 counts of making false statements. Each carries 5 years by federal grand jury in Los Angeles. The Fortenberry lawyers argued that the trial that the FBI lured the congressman into giving 2 interviews, then indicted him after he couldn't remember all the details about the conversation he had with the FBI informant about the illicit campaign donations. This, to be honest with you, it sounds like really, really normal tactics by the FBI. This is something that Rudy Giuliani knows a lot about because of the fact that they raided his home I think it was a year ago. We know about that because that's when he talked about how he offered up the hard drive and the laptop from hell, and which was the Hunter laptop. So, but his main thing was whenever, he actually kind of gave a little of a course. He said, when they come to your house, it's an investigation, and you have to be very careful with your wording, even up to the point where you ask for your legal counsel, because at any given moment that can root grounds for indictment. He's currently running for re-election and will be sentenced on June 28th. I don't know. I heard that he's actually a straight-up guy, I think, maybe. I don't know a lot about this. I'm just reading the article because it's interesting as to how the FBI operates. And so if you want to look a little more into it, I'll link this in the description, and that way you can check it out. So does anybody remember, I don't know if you remember this or not, but there was a guy, his name was Eric Greitens. And there was a thing about him, right? And he's doing really well in running for Senate. And then his ex-wife made accusations of abuse, and some other bad things that happened in the marriage. And this happened all right now in this whole election cycle that we've got going on. Well, he's gotten almost full custody of the children. They stay with him most of the time. He's got children with this woman. He's working to get these kids full-time custody. Meanwhile, his wife, let's see here. Sheena Greitens, by the way, the allegations have been dropped. This was just a hit piece. That's all it was. It's just enough to where a lot of times, if you anybody that's into the mainstream media, what they'll do is they'll put these articles right up front. Boom! You get that little information, and then the redacted or they don't really admit right off when they did something wrong. They won't even do a video about it or anything. They just keep on doing it. They just act like it didn't even happen. And then whenever the information finally gets to a boiling point, then they'll put their redaction or their fix-it video because of the fact they didn't do the research right off, and they'll put that way on down where nobody can see it so that you can't be redeemed any kind of which way. So, Greitens told the Washington Times, "I'm seeking full custody of my sons, and for their sake, I will continue to pray for their mother and hope that she gets the help that she needs." So, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but what it is the whole deal about this whole thing is this hit piece, the people that were involved, Karl Rove had prior knowledge of the contents and knew that this was going to come out, knew that ex-wife, former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens his ex-wife, there was a dispute that were filed over the custody, and none of this was ever mentioned at that time. This came out later, and Sheena Greitens' sister is at 3 different political consulting firms. So, and some of these firms actually are involved with Mitch McConnell. Okay, now I've got some good news about Mitch McConnell. If you can stick it out for a few minutes, this is a long video, but please hang out. Okay, excuse me, Patriot Burp. This Mitch McConnell and Karl Rove. So those are the 2 people, and there's a hit there. What it does is it talks about the funding came from some of their organizations to pay for everything to come out like it should. So there's going to be an investigation on this. But let's get back to let's see here. Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell actually did something kind of noble, and there's a video to it if you want to watch it. I'm not going to put it in here because this thing is already going long as all get out. I didn't mean for it to go this long, and I really appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm hopeful I can get everybody's attention for a few more minutes. Everybody hang out for just 1 second. I'll make it quick. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Thursday said he will vote no on Judge Ketanji Brown. She's going to, a lot of people are going to vote against her, but check this out. Ketanji Brown was pretty much open-minded on pedophile cases. We know about that. You would think that Mitch McConnell would be a little bit uproar of that, but I can say that this is a big deal too. And if you watched her confirmation, she said things in a Marxist way, and Mitch McConnell picked up on it. There is a video in the description. of this, well, I'll put the description here. You can watch the video. Just click on it. It'll take you to it. His thing was she was for court packing. And the way she worded her confirmation and things that she talked about when she said however many judges there are, she's looking forward to being a part of it, however many there are. So, you heard about the regime wanting to pack the court. That was an option they were thinking about. A lot of the, even Democrats were against this, but in other words, if you can't get it through legislation, you'll hammer it through executive order or Supreme Court. You've heard the potato head talk about that. Well, Mitch McConnell speaks out and says, this is not what we need. This is, and her responses were very uneducated. You could tell that she wasn't very well prepared for a lot of the things, and her opinions were really off the cuff of her sleeve, which really was a good thing into a sense that she didn't have a way to actually word salad it. So when I asked about other things about female, or better yet, just gender and how you define gender, or better yet, the simple things are just the actual genetic codes of X, X, and Y, Y, and whatever. You put X and Y together, you get some kind of weird purple Z. Anyway, her responses were definitely for the base that she's representing. So anyhow, thank you, Mitch McConnell, for at least, getting... The whole pedophile thing would have been a no-go for me, but definitely the fact that she's for court packing. So I want to thank everybody. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Lots of love to everybody, all the new subscribers, all the people, all my firsties that's been doing this, man. Thank y'all all so much for hanging out. God is in control. Everything's in the comments and description.